Ready to get Primal?
Well, you did. I didn't.
Yeah, I did.
I'm kind of sad that and so I was thinking through it because everyone's like, yeah, this game's good. I'm like, nah, why in my head did I say, Trevon, you can take Far Cry, I'll take Street Fighter? I feel like I got gypped on this one.
Well, that's you. It's in it. Street Fighter's an incomplete game. But today we're talking about Far Cry Primal. And I hope you edit this. It really when I yell Primal that the audio cues are through the roof.
I'm just gonna be sitting there with my headphones and just completely because more than likely I'm gonna upload it tonight, forget about it, get back to it tomorrow, and I'm gonna forget about it like I always do. Like there's one time in editing all of these where I'll forget that somebody's yelled or somebody's cursed, and I'll be like, oh god.
So yeah, today we're talking about Far Cry Primal. I played it. I thought he did, but he didn't.
Nope. Not yet.
So
I want to.
Yeah, I know you do. It's way different from all the other ones.
Well, what it looked like to me, and then I guess this is going to be the main question that I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
But first, I guess dive in a little bit to the story of this.
It's kind of loose, but there is one there. And I understand that it's hard to make a story for that time period. Only because, I mean, it was savage. You know what I mean? It's all savagery. But there is sort of a story to it.
From what I've got, from what I've seen of it, it's apparently like you're on a hunting expedition one day, your brother gets killed, you meet this girl, and then bam.
Your tribe are looking for your tribe. Your tribe is part of the Winja. They're called the Winja.
Okay.
And yeah, a saber-tooth comes and wrecks everybody's day. And,
I wouldn't expect anything less.
So yeah, you get thrown off the cliff, and I don't know if he's your brother or your partner or something, but he dies. So you get his Winja bracelet, so that when you do make it to whatever valley you're going to, you're identified as one. But yeah, there's the whole first 10 minutes is like a tutorial.
That's unexpected.
Yeah, because there's no guns, there's no nothing. There's it's kind of different gameplay. It really is.
What one of the main things that I've noticed about this ever since they announced it was one of the things that I love about Far Cry 4 was it really brought the hunting to I think the best the series has ever done.
Oh, you hunt.
Yeah, and to me, what I love so much about Far Cry 4 was that, unlike Far Cry 3, there was a greater emphasis on the hunting, and they kind of refined the hunting mechanics in 4.
I think it was more refined than 3.
I think the thing for me in 4 that I loved was bait mechanic.
There's a bait mechanic in 3 too, wasn't there?
No. Actually, when I played through it this summer, no, there's not.
I thought there was.
No, there's not. But I love the bait mechanic because I loved how it could help you find animals easier, and I also loved how it could make you attack your enemies easier.
Well, bait has an extra factor in this one.
Yeah, so the big thing to me is that this game, it looked like it took all, they just said to themselves during the development of this, let's take all the hunting aspects of Far Cry and let's build a whole game around it.
Yeah. Yeah, and hunting is hard. It really is. Because you got saber-tooths, you got bears, you got different types of saber-tooths.
You got freaking mammoths!
Mammoths, yeah. Which there's a one called a blood tusk mammoth.
Oh my god!
It's a legendary mammoth. You have to kill it. It's really hard.
Well, with how the legendary animals were in 4, I can only imagine.
Yeah, this one. Well, in this game too, you can tame animals. Okay. And,
yeah, I heard about this.
And the thing is that you throw. This is where the aspect of the bait comes in. Is that you throw bait and the animal's like, ooh, food. So they go up to it, and you're supposed to sneak up to them and hold X, and you're like, shh, shh.
I'm like Chris Pratt in Jurassic World.
Yeah, basically. And I'm like, that's not how this works. That's how they stole a Jurassic World thing.
It's not like you're gonna go up to a wolf who might be hungry just because he gave you a solid chunk of meat and he's just like, hey bro, we're cool. Yeah. Let's go hunt some animals together.
But that's basically how you do it. But the legendary animals, it's a lot more intense than that.
Oh boy.
Because the saber-tooth in the beginning of the game is a legendary animal that you can tame. Yeah, and that's the one that you have to try to tame. And when I was doing that, you were in these crevices and caves. This thing was chasing you. You were running around trying to attack it.
No, wait a minute. This thing killed your brother, and the game is just like, no, don't go the revenge way. Just tame it. It'll be all right. It's not gonna get a bloodlust for you.
No, you tame it.
Oh my god.
You tame an undying bear that has like arrows in its body and spears.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And then you tame a snowblood wolf, which is basically a white wolf with like blood all over it and all that. It's pretty cool.
How would anyone like? I know it's a video game, so I know it's like reality is out the door. That's fine, but. Who in their right mind at any point within the history of humankind would look at a wolf covered in blood and go, I think I can make that my pet?
Well, I mean, you can. And you get to ride bears and saber-tooths and mammoths.
Okay, because you know I love it for riding elephants.
Yeah, you can ride mammoths.
Okay, that's enticing. That's enticing.
See, in this game, too, there's like a lot more cliffs and edges, so like you just have to run into people and your mammoth will spear them, excuse my language. And they'll go flying off the cliff. It's hilarious. But
I love that about 4. Whenever you would get on an elephant and just Well,
this one there's a different craft. Like crafting is a real big part of this one too.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, the crafting system.
Is it the same as in 4 and 3, where based on what you hunt, you can build? Or is it a completely new system?
Oh, it's that system, but amplified. So you just don't need you just don't need animal skins anymore. You need wood. You need different kinds of rock and clay. Like you need all this stuff to build different weapons and upgrade your weapons.
And does the game make it easy to find those? Like, is it?
I choked on my spit. So what you have to do. I mean, it's kind of common sense because there's things called North Clay and South Rock. Well, obviously you're going to find it south of the map or north of the map.
Right.
But more specific things you can look in your inventory or whatever, and they'll have a description that tells you where it's mostly found.
Okay, so it is like Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
Where, if you looked at the description of each specific thing, it said it might be in this area.
Yeah.
Or on your map, here's the symbol you should look for if you want to find it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it hasn't changed from 4.
No.
Because that's one of the things I give 3 and 4 a lot of credit, is that they're massive games. And normally, like with these games that make you do all this stuff for inventory, Fallout 4 being a great example, it doesn't really tell you everything that you need or where to find it. And that's one of the things I've always appreciated about Far Cry, is that it's like, hey, here's all you need. We're not going to tell you specifically where it is, but we're going to give you a nice general area it might be in.
Well, that makes it easy, sort of.
It does, but it doesn't take away the challenge from it either, because when you get there and you see the big-ass lurking bear coming right at you, you realize, oh, this isn't going to be that easy.
Oh. Speaking of which, you don't have binoculars, obviously.
Yeah, I figured.
So you have... What you have is an owl that is your spirit animal or whatever. There's a witch doctor in the game that like throws you through a loop. It's like drugs in the game, I swear. Yeah, but there's a witch doctor.
This series cannot keep drugs off it.
No.
Not even when it goes back to cave. You know what? I should have expected this, because I was watching a video with blue flowers. I'm like, those are drugs.
Well, no, he puts like eyeballs and blood and all that stuff in it.
What is with this series?
I don't know. And then you drink it, and then next thing you know, you're flying with your spirit animal, and I don't know, which is an owl. I'm like, okay. So,
what is it with this series and having moments where the characters just trip?
I have no idea. But
every game.
But instead of binoculars, you have an owl, and you have the thing called hunter sense. Yeah, hunter sense. But the owl, see, you know the binoculars, you can mark anything and everything already.
Right. What does the owl do? Just peck it?
No, you have to upgrade it. You have to upgrade the abilities of the owl to mark enemies.
Oh my god.
And to mark animals.
Okay, I get it. You're not going to get rid of that mechanic because that's one of the main things in mechanic. But guys, come on.
Well, you can have it. And this owl, I swear, is like the size of my torso. But you eventually upgrade it to where it attacks people, and that's like the funniest thing.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I love it, because we were talking about this in Fire Emblem. One of the main mechanics of Fire Emblem, they shoehorned in to the new one. Because the first game they introduced it contextually made sense. With Far Cry 3 and 4, like the binoculars and marking it, that contextually made sense. I love it when a game has to bring in a mechanic that fans like, but they have to shoehorn it into the most ridiculous ways. I've noticed that a lot this year.
Really?
And because it sounds like that's what it does with this game with the Spirit Owl. And with Fire Emblem, one of the things was like, if your characters got married, you could go get their kid. And then the last game, it made sense because the game dealt with time travel mechanics.
Yeah.
Whereas in this game, it's just like, well, they're in this kind of like time day camp. So if you go to the day camp, you'll be able to get them.
Yeah.
It like, especially wanting to go into like TV, film, and video game writing, those moments are hysterical to me. It's like, because I just imagine the writer sitting there with a bottle of whiskey, like, what the heck am I going to do? Just do the simplest thing. That's genius!
Well, this game, Far Cry, I like it. I really do.
But I feel like there's a but there.
Oh, well, there's one more thing I want to mention too, is that you have to make sure that you upgrade your weapon, because you don't have to get materials on main missions to upgrade your stuff. You can go out of your way and upgrade all your stuff and then do missions. Except for one item, which I think is your arrows.
Yeah, I've done that in every Far Cry game.
This one, if you go up north, there you have a cold meter, and that meter drains slowly as you stay up north. Now you can upgrade your gear to where you don't have to worry about that meter anymore. But if you try to go there, you don't upgrade your meter, you're going to be freaking out, because you're going to be constantly looking at your meter and then looking back to see if you can hunt animals. You know, that's...
Was it kind of like the Sherpa levels in 4?
Where you had the north?
Yeah, where you had to move quickly because you only... Because
your oxygen levels, yeah.
Oh, God.
It's like that. But, now the problems... I mean, it's ridiculously difficult sometimes. Like, ridiculously difficult, especially with, like, because they, like, all the, which they are supposed to be, don't get me wrong, but saber-tooths and wolves, they're so sporadic and stuff. You have to sit here trying to throw spears or shoot them with arrows or hit them with your club. Like, but their movements are so sporadic that you're like, well, you know.
Well, that's good enemy variety.
Yeah.
I can see where that get frustrating really quickly.
I mean, I guess you can't really say that's a problem. I guess it's just more of a frustration.
Yeah.
But, I haven't really... I mean, it's a Far Cry game.
So I guess that could be the big problem, is that even though it's a huge, like, change in the setting of the game,
yeah,
it doesn't, at its core, do really anything drastically different.
Yeah, no. Besides the game, I mean, the gameplay in a way, with the crafting and all that, that's the only thing that's different. But there are way too many similarities to, like, the previous Far Cry games as far...
Now, this is the most interesting question I have. Would you consider this a spin-off, or would you consider this Far Cry 5?
That's a hard question.
Because I've seen a lot of people like debate this question.
I can see this as a fifth one, only because it's an entirely different setting. There's entirely different mechanics. So it's I mean, it is a different game, but it's the same game. I mean, they did it in the right way to where you're not feeling totally out of place, but you're kind of like, whoa, this is new. What am I doing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Instead of like the transition with Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, which was practically the same thing, except 4's story was more poopy. So, I mean, you know, this transition was a lot more noticeable than from 3 to 4.
I think the thing with me is, like, what I like about 4 so much, because you're right, the story is not as good, but I love the environment a lot more 4, because it did feel different, at least from, like, because I played the original Far Cry 2, and Far Cry 3, it's like, oh, it's another island, okay, whereas at least in 4, I was like, oh, Himalayas, I actually kind of like this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I know you and I have talked, that's why I like 4 a lot, so it seems like I would like this, but at the same time, I would get kind of irked that the story's not really there.
Oh, it wasn't.
So...
I mean, this game is more of an effort than 4 did.
Yeah.
4 just went from, what? Oh, like, spreading my mom's ashes in Nepal to, oh my god.
Surprise, you're in the middle of a civil war!
Yeah, and it's just like, it went 0 to 100 real fast. And see, the thing I liked about 3, you know, in retrospect, is that you were like a college student that had no idea what he was doing. And then, like, you built yourself up from there. And this one...
mercenary, drug lord, death dealer.
And then, like, 1 and 4, it's like you automatically knew how to do everything. So there was, like, no, you know...
That's true. And the other thing in 4 is, like, you're kind of like the push-around boy for everyone. Like, I think it was zero punctuation that set events for. It's like everything you do in the game. It's like good job, smack on the bum, next mission.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically what it is.
But it's weird because I've been very interested about this game, and everything you're saying has not changed or diminished my interest in it all.
It shouldn't.
But ever since the beginning, I just let it go. This sounds like a game I'm gonna get whenever it's $40-$30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Furthermore, you're talking about the story and how people are saying the story isn't really there. I mean, there is some story. I mean, they piece it together enough to let you know what's going on and why things are happening. But it's not like intricate and specific. It's like, oh,
it doesn't deal with as much depth the character is.
Oh yeah, no. The characters, like, you know, you just first meet them and you'll be talking to them, and then they'll tell you their life story, like right there. And I'm like, okay, that's not character development at all. That's just them telling you everything.
Yeah, because that's the thing that everyone loves about 3 is that there's great character development in that. And while 4 didn't really have that with the main character, it had it with everyone else, which was odd, but I thought it worked.
Pagan men, I didn't like him.
They didn't use him enough.
Yeah,
that was a problem. But I loved the 2 Civil War leaders that you eventually had to pick from, because it's like they do have different ideologies. Mm-hmm. I liked all the pagan men's helpers you ran into, because they each had their own arcs as to why they were helping him, good or bad. Yeah. That was the thing about Far Cry 4 that I always say. It's like everyone was a good character except for the 2 characters they pushed the most, which is the oddest thing.
Well, I think, remember in 4 when you collected all those tapestry pieces and then you were playing as the dude finding Shangri-La?
Yeah.
I think that voice actor is the same voice actor that plays the main character.
Oh, God.
And that the thing is, too, is that they created a language for this game. So that's
what I figured.
You have to have subtitles on. I mean, they're
do they make it where...
No, they're automatically on. But that's what I'm saying. You know,
do they have an option where it's off?
You have no idea what the heck's going on. No, but subtitles are required.
Because I'm just imagining that pretentious hipster is gonna be like, I know what they're saying, and I'm going to prove it.
Well, it's like, okay, but you have to understand that people get paid to make languages like this. So
right.
I mean, whatever.
The dude who made the Minions language probably making bank right now.
Yeah. Now this one, even though it's like a different language, the characters are able to express it. Like they're not just talking.
I saw one scene with the chick just screaming and dancing, and it kind of made me laugh.
No, but I mean that's good. That's good, you know. But once you upgrade everything, I mean, is relatively easy.
Yeah, that's how all these games are.
Yeah.
But it's like that was the thing, because I played 4 and then 3, and when I played 3, it was just like, okay, I'm just gonna upgrade everything. And then I remember you saying man, this game's kicking my butt, and I upgraded everything first. I was like, I don't know what he was saying.
Did I say that?
Yeah, because I remember when it first came out, you were having a little bit of trouble with it, and then you specifically told me
because it was from 2 to 3.
Yeah,
it was an entirely different.
Yeah, and then you went oh, I figured it out. I was an idiot and didn't upgrade everything.
And then 3 years later, you get 4 and then play 3. So of course, if you transition from 2 to 3, you would have said the same thing.
Well, I transitioned from 2 to 4, and 2 to 4, I was even like, whoa.
Yeah. So. It's whatever. I mean, this transition, I almost felt the same way because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But then, you start to get used to it, you're like, oh, so this is what I have to do to upgrade this, and this is where I find it, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I mean, this game, I like it. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
So,
that was a solid review.
Yeah.
What would you give it grade-wise? You seem conflicted there.
Because I have problems with it, but...
Was there any problems you didn't mention? Or was it just the fact that it really doesn't
There were a couple, there was a glitch, I remember, where... Because you can still set things on fire. And that's the main thing in that game, at night... Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. At nighttime, if you go hunt at night, it's way more dangerous than daytime.
That's kind of like what Dying Light pulled off.
Yeah, and you can use because you're supposed to light your clubs on fire.
Yeah.
You can light them on fire, and if because wolves travel in packs, and so there's those little hyena pricks. you can swing your fire at them and they'll scatter and run away.
Oh my god!
I thought that was a pretty cool aspect too. Sabertooths, no, not so much.
Did you see John Tron's video where he was trying to do that and he actually lit one of the wolves on fire?
Yeah, you can actually light them on fire.
He lit one of them on fire and he was like, the wolf just looked and ran away. He was just like, hey Jerry, went, oh my god!
Well, see, the Sabertooths, if you light them on fire, they'll stop and roll to try to put it out for themselves.
Oh my god!
Yeah. But anyway,
that would make me poo a little.
Yeah, it did. I was fighting like another tribe, right? And like I lit like everything on fire for some reason. And I killed everybody. I was like, okay, this is done, and I ran out. All of a sudden, my guy goes, I'm like, what? I was like, what's happening? I'm like 50 feet away from the fire. What's
I remember
happening?
that. No, that happened in 3 and 4 too, where you'd be running like after you set something on fire, then suddenly you're like,
yeah,
I was like, wait, where? Like
I was like, okay.
Did the game like glitch out and it was like, oh wait, he was on fire?
Yeah.
Like,
well, see, and there's beehives in this game too that hang from trees. So if you walk past the beehives, you'd be, I'm like, I didn't know there was one. Oh, and grenades in this game are made of them.
wait, now wait a minute.
They're called like beehive bombs and berserk bombs, and literally you. One of the resources are beehives, and you need
Do not tell me you throw a freaking hive at people.
Yes, you throw it at people, and it breaks open, and they all like die.
I gotta play this now.
Yeah, they all died. It's hilarious.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
A beehive bomb.
Yeah.
A beehive bomb.
Well, I was given one, and I'm like, what is this? So I threw it. I'm like, you're joking. You're joking.
I wish you would have sent me a video of that like immediately. Like, dude, are you still thinking about playing? Check this out.
Oh, dude, I'll boot it up after and show you.
Oh my god, I gotta see this.
But the grade I would give it, if you're a Far Cry if you're a Far Cry fan, it is definitely a good transition. Because it was like I said, it's like the transition from 2 to 3. You know, there were new things.
Yeah.
And like the gameplay and all
well,
that.
2 is just a straight up first person shooter. So to go from like 2 to 3 or 2 to 4, you're like.
Not to mention 2's story was a little bit everywhere. It was.
That's putting it lightly.
It was all over the place.
Have you ever played the original Far Cry?
No. The one I played was Instincts. That was the first one I've ever played.
First one's bad. It's bad.
Well, they made enough money to make the second and third one.
Yeah, well, what it is that I played the original because they like remastered it for like the PlayStation Store. So it was like $2 one day. I was like, oh, I'll pick it up. I started playing it. I was like, wow. I was like, how is this series 5 games in?
Yeah.
Like,
I remember the commercial for the very first one. But it's a good transition if you're a Far Cry fan. Now, if you're just going into Far Cry Primal, I highly don't recommend that. I say play at least 3, so you can familiarize.
Or play 4. They're both like
3's the better one.
Yeah,
3's the better one. Trust me. But you familiarize yourself with it. So if you're not a Far Cry fan, I would give it, and you're just going into that, I'd give it a C+.
If you're a fan, probably a B.
I would go, B. Because I had my problems with the game, but I can't they're not major, but there are things about it that could have been done differently and could have been better.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's it, folks.
So now that you're done with Far Cry, I guess let's move on to Ubisoft's next game. I can't believe they released 2 of their biggest games within a month of each other.
The Division.
I know.
Got my hands on it. I'm having the time of my life with it.
That seems like there's some missight there.
And see, the best thing that Ubisoft ever did was the Ubisoft Club. That's the best thing they ever done.
You mean Uplay?
Or yeah, it's Ubisoft Club too.
Wow, you're probably the only person on the internet that is ever going to say that.
Yeah. Uplay is the best thing they ever did.
You are literally the only person that is going to say that, because after all the BS with Assassin's Creed Unity...
I didn't care. Well, I mean, the Uplay stuff, I like it because you get points from achievements, and then you can use those points to buy in-game content.
It's a good idea. I think my problem is, They need to stop locking people out of games who don't have it. So, because I remember Unity, that was like a big issue with Unity, is that if people didn't have it, it like pretty much like just locked them out of the game until they got it.
Well, you know, Unity was a pile of poop anyway.
Well, I didn't say that it was a good idea for people to sign up to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying that's what they did.
Unity was a big pile of poo.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when you first played Unity.
Oh, there were so many glitches and stuff. It wasn't even funny.
Oh,
I didn't.
Oh, the videos I got that day.
And that video was Syndicate that I showed you.
Yeah, but then you were like, "This is the only one." Like,
yeah, this is the only one. Literally,
well, Unity was like every 10 seconds I was getting a snap story like, "What is this? I can't even."
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You can. You want to do the outro?
The sign off.
Yeah.
You can go to the Tanooki.com to see all of our reviews, or you could go to the YouTube with the Post Games On playlist and find all of our reviews, which are doing better.
Which are doing better?
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
it's because of the giveaways.
Yeah, I can't deny that. Fire Emblem helped a lot too. Because since the fan base is mostly Nintendo, when Fire Emblem went up, everyone was like,
yeah.
So that helped.
That's good.
Us going off on Street Fighter helped.
Oh, Street Fighter. You guys need to watch Angry Joe's rant about that too.
He's right though.
Yeah, I know, but
He's so right.
He is right.
He said it perfectly. Like, he said it the best you could say. It's a good game for what it is, but the fact that we only got half a game is bull.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
yes, sir.
Like, the only reason, like, he's so right in saying the only reason we got it as early as we did is because of EVO.
Yeah.
And they should have clarified that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god.
Are you getting that Pokemon Tekken game too?
Oh, Pokken Tournament?
Yeah.
If I get money.
But anyway, yeah, Pokken Tournament too is the other thing.
I'm very curious about that.
Yeah.
Footage looks good of it. It does. It looks like an interesting fighting game.
Yeah. I mean, we don't mean to turn this into a podcast.
No.
But yeah.
We sometimes do that in these outros. But you can find us on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram.
I'm only on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
You
don't do that stuff.
I'm like a recluse.
That's left to me.
Yeah, he's more that's. I mean, if he asks me to try to spread the word, I'll try. But I don't have a lot of friends. I only have him for like 3 other people I talk to.
That's all right. All right, folks, we're out.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Beehive bomb.
Beehive bombs.
Beehive bomb.
Beehive bomb.